When American revolutionaries established a new government based on the sovereignty of the people, it was truly a radical idea. The power of the nation was not entrusted to a monarchy, but to its citizens. Each generation since continues to debate and shape this bold experiment. The Smithsonian's exhibition, Voices and Votes: Democracy in America, explores questions sparked by that revolution. Who are the people? Whose voice will be heard? How do we spark participation? And what are the rights and responsibilities of citizens? In late 2019, the Smithsonian went into towns hosting the exhibition to further examine these questions with community members. Although their views are unique and may be different from our own, can we find commonalities and opportunities for conversation? Where do you see yourself in this evolving story of American democracy? In a diverse nation, debates rage over what the ideal character of its citizenry should be. Views like assimilation, multiculturalism, and exclusion all beg the question, how diverse should we be? These viewpoints impact everything from policy and education to social welfare programs. What does it mean to be an immigrant in America? What does it mean to be an American citizen? How do we heal divisions? State Representative Dottie Joseph of Florida sees being a Haitian American woman in her state legislature as an honor and responsibility, standing at an intersection of race, gender, and immigration status. Dottie believes Americans must look at our commonalities instead of differences.
It's literally the same story all around the world. You know, it takes a lot for somebody to leave everything that they've known, their family, their friends, their jobs, their homes, to go to a new place, usually for one of two things. Number one, in search of just survival. I think in the United States, we take for granted what it means to live in peace. Second thing is to just provide, an opportunity for their family. This country was founded on opportunity, and I think a lot of times, particularly in the divisive rhetoric that we see in politics today, sometimes we forget that we're actually, unless you're a Native American, we're all immigrants. The laws may have been different at different times. We don't like to talk about that all the time. But the reality is, whether we came here or our ancestors came here voluntarily or involuntarily, we're here. And it would behoove us to make the best of it together.
Dr. Cassia Oliveira came to Arkansas in the early 2000s from Brazil. Although she sometimes feels as though people see her differently, ultimately, she found a diverse, welcoming home.
From the beginning, I always felt welcome here. And Arkansas actually became my home from the beginning. And I've had the opportunity to meet so many different people and to realize that despite some differences, when you think about language and even religion and culture, that at a basic level we are all humans, and I've always been able to engage with people. I came with a visa to this country because I was a student, and after a few years I became a permanent resident with a green card. And it was really after my son was born in 2015 that I decided that I want to have the full rights of a citizen, be able to vote, be able to travel with a passport, and that's when I applied for my citizenship. So I've been a U.S. citizen since 2016. But in reality, since the first day that I came to this country, I actually always functioned as a citizen because I had rights and responsibilities that I always fulfilled over the years.
Nikki Smith embraces the idea of an American identity that can unite us while also celebrating diversity. Nikki was born in Seoul, South Korea, and at the age of 1, she was adopted by a Michigan family. A few years later, they relocated to Florida, where Nikki still lives.
I don't call myself an Asian American, I call myself an American because on the day that I get to vote, I'm voting as American. When I celebrate national holidays, I'm celebrating as an American. I believe that we are so fortunate to live in a cultural
pot of all sorts and all types and all nationalities. But our bottom line is we are American and we share the same thing, freedom. And whether we're diverse, whether we celebrate differently, whether we practice our faith differently, it doesn't matter. We have to just become united on the fact that we're free and that we live in this great country.
What does diversity and democracy mean to you? Share your story with a friend. Search for other Voices and Votes programs in your community. Or talk back to the Smithsonian by visiting museumonmainstreet.org and let us hear your story.